Well, I can't think of a better way to uplift your spirits before a game than by receiving your championship rings. And each and every member of that 2007-2008 Philippine Cup Championship team for the Sta Lucia Realtors are on hand to receive those rings because, as we mentioned at the top of the coverage, they are very much intact from the previous season.
That's correct, and also they're going up against Ginebra, so Ginebra also a championship team in their own right. So this should be a good game. Even though Ginebra has some players hurt for this particular game, we're expecting a good contest.
So again, missing 4 key players. The Barangay Ginebra Kings playing without Mark Aguiwa, Junti Valenzuela, Rafi Rivas, and Billy Mamaril. And so we'll only be seeing one half of the Fast and the Furious tandem with Helterbrand joining forces with Salvacion, Cabatu, Pacana, and Meng. So the new acquisition, Junjun Cabatu, getting his trial by fire here for the Barangay Ginebra Kings in their first game of the KFC PBA Philippine Cup. And there on your screens, Coach Jong Wichiko, who has assured the fans that Helterbrand and Menk are already okay with their previous injuries, and he's also reported that Kagiwa is recuperating well in the U.S. And now for the starting lineup of the Sta Lucia Realtors, Dennis Miranda, Ryan Reyes, the reigning Rookie of the Year, Dennis Espino, Nelbert Omalon, and Kelly Williams, 2007-2008 MVP. So a nice healthy mix of the young guns and the rookies here for the reigning PBA Philippine Cup champions.
Well, actually, just Dennis Espino is really the veteran out there. The rest of those guys are pretty young. And it'll be interesting to see how Ginebra responds here, as Sta Lucia definitely has the size advantage in this basketball game.
Dennis Espino playing his 14th year in the PBA. And at the opening tip, first possession going to the Sta Lucia Realtors. Inside to Espino. Espino under the basket, gets the first point on the board, and it's and one.
If you're Coach Boyet Fernandez, that's exactly what you want to do in this game. You want to pound Ginebra inside. They do not have the depth. If Eric Mean gets in any type of foul trouble, really going to be trouble for the Ginebra team. Dennis Espino has been known to be a low post threat since he came into the PBA, so Sta Lucia now off to a good start.
Espino completing the three-point play, taking the early lead here. And now Helterbrand.
Well, interesting matchup there. Omalon guarding guarding Helterbrand. So you have your small forward for Sta Lucia picking up the point guard on the other team.
16 seconds left on the shot clock here for Barangay Ginebra. They go inside to Menk. Menk going up against Espino with his baby hook. No good. Tip in is still no good. And it's back to the Realtors. Sta Lucia on the run. Pass inside. Espino can't get it to go, but tipped back in. And Espino now in charge of all 5 points for the Realtors.
And one thing Ginebra has to be aware of, Vito, is the fact that Sta Lucia likes to use their defense to get their running game going, so they really have to get back on defense and talk about the Ginebra team.
Makana coming off the screen from Cabatu. Cabatu looking for a way in, and it's Helterbrand now. 4 seconds left on the shot clock. Helterbrand has to launch it, and it's no good. Another defensive rebound pulled down by the Realtors. Omalon deciding to regroup here for Sta Lucia, and Espino is wide open. Bang!
Did we say he was the veteran of the team? He already has 8 points in this game.
And so the Realtors, maybe hyped up by all the new bling that they just got right before this game of the championship rings, and they make it 10-0 with only a minute and a half gone by here in the first quarter, and Coach Jong Wichiko is forced to call a timeout. This is not how they wanted to start off their 2008 KFC PBA Philippine Cup Conference. 10 minutes and 30 to go. And a look back at Dennis Espino, who has been the man in charge for Sta Lucia here in the first. We'll be right back. On CS9, second game of today's PBA Wednesday doubleheader, the Barangay Ginebra Kings taking on the Sta Lucia Realtors, and the Barangay Ginebra Kings have been shell-shocked in the first minute and a half of the first quarter, with the Realtors racing to a 10-point advantage, while the Kings have yet to put a single point on the board.
And they haven't really gotten a good look at the basket. They had a couple of chances for offensive rebounds, could not deliver. But, you know, you just take a look at this Santa Lucia defense, Vito, and they're really up to the task so far in this game.
Salvacion taking the three. That comes up short. Offensive rebound by Menk, but it's lost. Reyes over to Miranda. Miranda back inside to Reyes, losing the handle, and this will stay with Santa Lucia.
Well, Coach John Uchiko, not happy with his inside game, is going to send Crisano in immediately. And he takes out Eric Mink. I think there's a concern with Ginebra getting back on defense as Santa Lucia continues to push the basketball.
And you can see Ginebra not missing everything after 5 attempts at the basket. And now a chance for Barangay Ginebra to make their presence felt here in the first quarter. Bacana can't find a way in. Hildebrand gets some help from the screen from outside. Hildebrand launching the three. The three ball is no good. Omolon with the defensive rebound, but that's a lost possession. Now Bacana will try his hand from the outside, and he gets it.
That's really going to be a key for Ginebra. They're going to have to click from the perimeter, as Coach John will have a hard time trying to find a low post game.
The 26-year-old 6'1" Chris Bacana, responsible for the first points on board for Barangay Ginebra, cutting the lead down to 7 with 9 minutes and 17 remaining here in the first. Reyes swinging it over to Miranda. Isolation play for Miranda. It's a lost possession. And Kabatu feeling a little gun shy about penetrating against Williams. And this is a curious matchup. Omolon against Hildebrand. Now Crisano taken away. And Reyes hangs in the air.
Yeah, strong finish there by Ryan Reyes. Another fast break basket for the Santa Lucia team.
And the Santa Lucia Realtors on attack mode here in the first quarter. Down low to Crisano. Kabatu trying to make some headway here. Goes cross court. Hildebrand with another attempt from the outside, and he still got nothing. And so with 8 minutes and 16 left here in the first quarter, we're looking at a 9-point lead for the Santa Lucia Realtors. Reyes now being hounded by Bacana, but he gets some help from the screen. He gets free for the three. Now let's see, the Barangay Ginebra Kings trying to play a slower pace of basketball here in the first. From the elbow, no good.
Like I mentioned, no low post play for Ginebra so far. Most of their shots coming from the perimeter. And Reyes on the attack mode once again. You can see the way Santa Lucia just rushes that basketball up the court.
Ryan Reyes drawing the foul, and he'll go to the line for 2 free throws. The the Santa Lucia Realtors, as we mentioned at the top of the coverage, a breakout season for them last year.
Well, what's very interesting about this game so far, and we haven't had 5 minutes go off the clock yet, but Santa Lucia, they're up by 10 points. And I don't think Kelly Williams has touched the basketball on the offensive end.
No, not at all.
And he is the MVP of the league.
Well, at some point, they got to get him involved in the offense. But so far, they have not needed his output just yet, because they've already erected this 11-point lead with 7 minutes and 40 to go in the first. Now Paul Artadi brought in to help the backcourt for Barangay Ginebra. That ball tapped away by Williams. It stays with Barangay Ginebra, but they've only got 7 seconds left on the shot clock. Will J.J. Hildebrand get a good look here? He goes in, gets the finger roll.
We're going to get a big dose of pick and rolls in this game from Ginebra as they try to free up J.J. Hildebrand.
And the lead now down to 9. Miranda over to Williams. And now Williams with a fall away, that comes up short, and Crisano brings it down for the Kings. And Barangay Ginebra having some trouble penetrating here with the defense of the Santa Lucia Realtors. And Hildebrand gets some space. He gets the go signal for three and gets it finally.
That's correct. Another high pick and roll for J.J. Hildebrand, and he knocks down the three. See a lot of early substitutions for Ginebra. It's 2 bids in the game. Artadi's in the game. Even Hopper's in the game. Practically have changed their starting lineup except for J.J. Hildebrand.
Well, anything to get some kind of rhythm going here for the Kings. Unfortunately, there's a rhythm going as well for the Sta Lucia Realtors as now Omalon adds to the damage, extending the lead to 8.
Well, Omalon has a big size advantage over J.J. Hildebrand on the offensive end.
Now, Paul Artadi looking for a foul, and that's exactly what he got off Dennis Miranda. That'll be the first personal on Dennis Miranda. And so Paul Artadi, who's expected to see more minutes in the absence of Mark Kagiwa, who's nursing that knee injury in the U.S.
You look at this Sta Lucia team, Vito, and you can see that they have the size. They definitely have the athletic ability. They have the speed. They have the quickness. They have to be one of the favorites in this conference.
Always the pressure on the defending champions. And as we mentioned, no team has been able to defend the Philippine Cup Championship in 24 years. The last team to do it, Great Taste, in 1984 and 1985.
Full court pressure coming from Ginebra.
And Ryan Reyes with a bounce pass underneath, and that's shut down by Alex Crisano. And Alex Crisano shrugging that off like another day in the office. And Joseph Yo now coming into the lineup for the Sta Lucia Realtors. And I believe this is their first substitution of the game.
That's correct. And one athletic player leaves the court, another one comes in, and Joseph Yo, who can really penetrate to the basket.
And who can be a very pesky defender as well. Artadi out to Hildebrand. Hildebrand looking to Tubit. Tubit with the cut. He loses the handle, but will draw the foul.
Well, there is one chink in the armor of Sta Lucia. They do commit a lot of fouls, particularly Reyes, Omalon. They do get in foul trouble a lot because of their aggressiveness on defense. So you can expect Ginebra will continue to attack the basket, especially with guys like Hildebrand and Tubit.
And at the line now, 6-year veteran, Ronald Tubit. Former UE Red Warrior, he makes his first free throw.
Well, they used to call him the Saint, but they don't call him that anymore after a few years in the league.
He made a reputation for himself in the PBL and eventually earned his spot here in the PBA and a spot here with the Barangay Ginebra Kings. Lead now down to 5. Tubit with a chance to eat away at that lead, and he doesn't get it. So after splitting his free throws, just past the halfway mark here in the first quarter, Sta Lucia still controlling this first quarter with a 5-point lead, 16-11. Marlu Aquino now in the mix for Sta Lucia. And a shaky baseline jumper there from Dennis Miranda, and that one saved by Tubit.
Every time Crisano's involved in a play, the crowd really gets excited. Or not involved in the play in that particular instance.
Artadi slashing inside, stretches for the roll.
Nice move there by Artadi. And then he gets run over by Ryan Reyes.
Well, he'll have to get back on defense. Now Joseph Yo pushing it forward for the Realtors. Miranda looking at Marlu Aquino inside. Off the double team, back out to Miranda. Very tight baseline. To a cut! Oh! Williams. It was only a matter of time before we'd see the reigning MVP start rocking the rim.
And he really throws it down.
Hildebrand with another outside attempt. Head shot is no good, but offensive rebound. Pulled down by Hoper. Oh, and it's another lost possession here. Ryan Reyes gets his spot, takes it, doesn't make it. And now approaching the 4-minute mark of the first quarter. Sta Lucia ahead by 5, 18-13 at the low post. It's Crisano. Oh, bodies on the floor here. Collision between Ronald Tubid and Dennis Miranda.
It was more like a car crash.
Well, both players seem to be okay, and that's another look at Kelly Williams finding the lane inside, and that's exactly what you can't give him, room to move and fly.
He's a human highlight all by himself.
Possession still with Barangay Ginebra. Tubid looking to Eric Menk, who's back in, matching up against Marlu Aquino. Pacana gets a little bit of space, changes his mind, but he gets open. Oh, that's going to be traveling.
Well, he thought he had gotten away, but the referee decided that he traveled.
Well, from our angle here, it almost looked like Sta Lucia almost got a touch on that ball, but it turns out Pacana was also the last player to touch it. So it is back to the Realtors now.
Well, Ginebra now in a 2-3 zone.
Marlu instantly attracting the double team. And Kelly Williams, cross court. Ryan Reyes gets past his defender inside. Oh! And Marlu Aquino just trying to drop it in, but he falls short. Artadi now with a spin, but that's rejected by Kelly Williams. And Joseph Yo, 1 against 3, that falls short. The tip in is still not there, and Menk gets it back in control. But it looks like Eric Menk was caught stepping on the line.
His foot was just a little bit too big. And what a block by Kelly Williams, and that's what I'm talking about. This kid can get it done on both ends of the court. And he just waited for Paul Artadi to make that spin move, and he just slapped that basketball.
And Ryan Reyes now getting a well-deserved break here in the first, as Paulo Mendoza enters the fray for Sta Lucia. Joseph Yo over in the corner, covered by Pacana. And Mendoza, a quick step there, and looks like this is going to be a defensive foul against Gonzalez.
Well, no hesitation coming from Paulo Mendoza, who just entered the game, and I guess the air conditioning is a little bit too strong in here. He threw up an air ball.
And we have a timeout with 2 minutes and 54 remaining. The Sta Lucia Realtors still ahead here in the first, up by 5, 18-13. And it's time to take a look at our KFC assist delivery of the quarter, and this one coming courtesy of Dennis Espino. Dennis Espino, the veteran, connecting with Nelbert Omolon, who converts on the basket. And that is our KFC assist delivery of the quarter. Magpa-deliver sa KFC, just dial 887-8888. KFC, it's finger licking good. And we are back here at the Big Dome as we continue our coverage of PBA opening week right here on CS9. And it is the second game of today's doubleheader. Barangay Ginebra taking on Sta Lucia. Both teams the previous champions of the PBA Philippine Cup, with the Realtors as the reigning champions. Ronald Tubid now at the line, cutting into this 5-point lead that the Realtors have pretty much held for most of this first quarter.
Well, the Realtors in a little bit of foul trouble here in this first period, and they've been able to get some points from the line. Ginebra really has to try to find a way to get points in the paint. I mean, they don't really have a post-up game. Maybe they have to get pick-and-roll slashes to the basket, but they have to find a way to get more points in the paint.
Williams over to Marlu Aquino. The skyscraper with a quick dish inside.
Offensive foul.
And that one called against Joseph Yo, who leaned just a little bit into that shot. And this now means a perfect opportunity for Barangay Ginebra to really get into this one. Down only by 3 with 2 minutes and 31 remaining in the first. Holper over to Tubid.
Well, Sta Lucia now in a 2-3 zone also.
Menk, not with a lot of space to move here, but he does find Tubid inside. Tubid with a very difficult shot. He doesn't get the lucky bounce. Mendoza ahead to Yo. Yo inside. Marlo Aquino. Aquino in rush hour, and he gets hounded by the defense.
Well, that was a pretty difficult shot by Ronald Tubid, trying to shoot over Marlo Aquino. No matter what you think about Marlo, he's still 6'9", and he will block your shot. On the other end, Marlo was able to run the floor. And he was the first guy down the court. He's going to be rewarded with 2 shots.
So Marlo Aquino, yesterday's birthday boy, in fact. Yesterday, he just turned 36 years old. And he has long been a pillar of strength here for the Sta Lucia Realtors, but he comes up short on his free throws. And so the lead stands at 3, still in favor of Sta Lucia.
2 minutes.
Tubid with a cut inside the Holper, and now Menk gets his. First points on the board for Eric Meng in this game. Joseph Yo tried to get the better of the defense, but Holper was there to save the day.
Well, you never want to save that ball under the basket of the other team, which is what just happened there.
That was his first 14th foul for the Ginebra.
That was pretty much doing the Realtors a favor here. So with less than 2 minutes to go, more free throws coming up. And here's a look at Joseph Yo getting rejected on that play.
You can see the save underneath the basket. That's why Sta Lucia is going to keep the basketball.
But Barangay Ginebra now dangerously close to the Realtors, only down by 1, but making a little bit of space is Norman Gonzalez.
Well, Norman Gonzalez, a power forward with 3-point range.
How often does that happen?
Not very often, yeah. He is a small power forward, though.
From point blank range to miss, but now Menk saves it for the Kings.
That's 2 straight inside baskets for Eric Meng.
Oh, and Kelly Williams gets that and the foul. And Kelly Williams never fails to bring out some surprises in his game. And so a potential 3-point play coming up here as Sunday Salvacion re-enters for Barangay Ginebra.
Well, the thing I see as far as Kelly Williams is the maturity. I mean, when he first came into the league, I used to think he took bad shots. But now he can go through an entire game. You don't really think he has the numbers because everything comes within the flow of the game.
And so the lead is back up to 4. And the Kings will take their time here. With only a minute to go in the first. Salvacion. Over to Holper. Holper back out to Salvacion, and he's deadly from any range. But he comes up short here. And Paulo Mendoza breaking through the defense. That was in and out. But Gonzalez banging bodies inside. This time it will be Marlo's turn, and he gets his point.
And height is might underneath that basket.
And so, in only a span of about a minute and a half, the Sta Lucia Realtors have successfully taken back control of this ball game. But there's a tip in by Holper. And we've got time enough for about 2 more possessions, and that is going to be an offensive foul called against Kelly Williams.
That was a legitimate charge there as Holper took it right in the chest. No question about that call.
And so after Holper gets the contact, he'll go to the bench, and that will allow Willie Wilson to make his first appearance of the game for Barangay Ginebra.
This is a very small team Ginebra has on the floor right now. As Kabatu is their center, and I would imagine Willie Wilson's the power forward.
Yeah, he must be.
Well, you can see Coach John has gone deep into his bench.
And Artadi trying to fake out his defender, trying to sneak this one in with a finger roll, but it's no good. Down to a second, and our first quarter is officially over, and the Sta Lucia Realtors have led this entire game, erecting a double-digit lead, leading by as many as 12 points here in the first quarter, and wrapping up the first 12 minutes of action with a 25-21 lead. Ryan Reyes, the reigning Rookie of the Year, leading the charge. Helterbrand, however, doing some damage from the outside, but it has been Kelly Williams providing the explosive action here for the fans and for the Sta Lucia Realtors. Second quarter coming up right here on the PBA on CS9. And tomorrow, the basketball extravaganza that is the PBA heads to the Inare Sports Arena in Pasig, where the undermanned Air 21 Express will be taking on the Talk and Text Tropang Texters. That all begins at 6 p.m. Back to the game at hand, however, we are here at the Big Dome for the second game of this PBA Wednesday doubleheader. Barangay Ginebra against the Sta Lucia Realtors, where the Realtors are up by 4. And, could have almost extended that lead, but that was a miss from point-blank range for Norman Gonzalez, and so it is back to the Barangay Ginebra Kings. Bacana missing from the outside. Big offensive rebound from Willie Wilson. And Helterbrand also back in the mix here, down low. A lot of ball movement here for the Barangay Ginebra Kings, but what they need are converted baskets, and that tip-in will not go from Kabatu. And you are watching the PBA on CS9. Vita Lazatin here along with Coach Norman Black. Paulo Mendoza off the Marlo Aquino screen. Williams gets the go signal. Headshot is no good.
It'll be interesting to see where the offense comes from for Ginebra against this zone. And there you go, Willie Wilson.
Wilson's soft touch there, breaking the ice for the Barangay Ginebra Kings here in the second quarter.
Well, Ginebra only shot 32% in that first quarter compared to 42% for Sta Lucia. Ginebra won the rebound battle though, 17-15.
Joseph Yo from the outside, and he's been known to be deadly from there.
Boy, Willie Wilson really has a tough task here trying to guard Marlo Aquino.
Hence the double team with Sunday Salvacion trying to help out. Paulo Mendoza faking out a little bit. Marlo Aquino thinks about it before deciding to launch it, and that comes up short. Now Salvacion with the space and hoping for a little contact, but no. Salvacion will get the easy two, and don't look now. We are now tied for the first time in this ball game.
And the small lineup clicking for Ginebra as Willie Wilson now has switched over to Williams. Kabatu's picking up Marlo Aquino.
And Paulo Mendoza getting a good look for that jumper. Helterbrand, no look. Salvacion looking for back-to-back baskets, but he will not get it here. And now Yo. Entry pass to Gonzalez. Gonzalez working his way in the paint, goes for the fall away. And Aquino keeps it alive. And another open jumper, and this time Norman Gonzalez makes them pay.
Yeah, you might want to get out and guard Norman Gonzalez. That's his second three-point shot of the game. I mean, he has three-point range. Everybody knows that.
And Bacana losing the handle. It's 2-on-2. With both guards racing ahead for Sta Lucia, but there will be a foul called here against Barangay Ginebra.
Foul on number 80, Sunday Salvacion.
And Salvacion called for his first personal foul.
2 shots for Joseph Yo.
And so Joseph Yo coming to the line with a couple of free throws. Yo, the former Green Archer who averaged 11 points, 10.5 to be exact actually in the previous season.
Substitution that is for Ellie Williams.
And now we're seeing some fresh legs enter now for the Sta Lucia Realtors. A 4-man substitution with Daa coming in, Miranda, Espino is also in, and Omolon.
I think Coach Boyette really wants to take advantage of the small lineup of Ginebra, with Dennis Espino being a better low post threat than Marlo Aquino at this stage of his career.
8 minutes and 55 remaining here in the second quarter. Barangay Ginebra Kings and the Sta Lucia Realtors making their season debut here tonight from the Big Dome. Another missed attempt from the Kings. Go ahead pass inside to Espino. Espino spinning around, and he doesn't get the roll he's looking for. Oh, but they get it back, and now Omolon kick out pass to Yo. Yo charging against his defender, but that will be a defensive foul called against Tubit.
Foul number 71.
Tubit tried his best to get in front of Yo, but he was moving just a little bit as Yo made his move. Ryan Reyes is now back in the game for Joseph Yo.
And that is going to be the second team foul against Barangay Ginebra here in the second quarter.
Well, a couple more stats for you in that first quarter now that we have a lull. Sta Lucia with 7 assists in the first quarter. Ginebra only 1. And Sta Lucia won the fast break battle 6 points to 0. So Ginebra has not really been able to get their running game going. Not even sure whether Ginebra really wants to run too much in this game, considering they do lack manpower.
Well, you mentioned the assist numbers, and it has been Dennis Miranda who has been orchestrating most of the plays here for Sta Lucia with already 3 assists to his name. And now, Dennis Espino trying to bait his defender. That's going to be a 3-second violation. He was parked down low a little too long.
Well, 2 times now, no success for Dennis around the basket, but you can bet Sta Lucia will continue to go to that matchup.
And a brief look at Bacana a while ago, who's actually been seeing some pretty extended minutes here for the Barangay Ginebra Kings.
Another fast break point there for the Sta Lucia team, using their defense and turning it into offense.
And Omolon now with 6 points to his name in this ball game. We're now at the 8-minute mark of the second quarter. Touch pass to Artadi. Artadi delivers.
Well, that's always a plus for Ginebra.
And now Barangay Ginebra playing catch-up basketball with Artadi. That ball tapped away by Ryan Reyes. It's 4-on-1, but that play will be stopped thanks to a foul called against the Kings. And I believe Salvacion will be called with this one.
That was a very smart foul there by Sunny. That would have led to a 3-on-1 fast break for Sta Lucia. A good foul there. Mackie Escalona, my former player in the UAP, checks into the game. Also a VJ.
That's right.
That's right.
And so Coach Jong Wichico really playing around with his lineup here, and J.R. Aquino is also in the game for the first time. And well, this is really something that we expected. Coach Jong Wichico playing around with his lineup and really experimenting with different combinations, knowing that you have players like Mark Aguiwa, Junti Valenzuela, Rafi Ribas, and Billy Mamaril unavailable in this game. And they're all key players.
Great defense there by Willie Wilson.
And now Mackie Escalona with the handoff to Aquino. That finger roll will not go. But on the other end, Ryan Reyes trying to out-dribble his defender inside, and Omolon keeping it simple.
Omolon, the master of the finger roll around the basket. Easy 2 points for him.
And so Omolon being the silent killer here for Sta Lucia with 8 points in the ball game. Elterbrand out to Escalona. Escalona, he's got the space. He should have the license to take the shot, but that was just off the mark. And that's saved by Ryan Reyes and Dennis Da. Oh, he falls short. And that will haunt him just a little bit here in the second quarter. J.R. Aquino rather. Trying to get a sneaky pass in. It's back to the Kings with Escalona in control. Over to Aquino. And another offensive rebound, this time Kabatu. Opting to slow things down, and the Kings feel like they need to take this time out after a couple of disorganized plays here at the halfway mark of the second quarter. Sta Lucia ahead by 5, 33-28. More PBA action coming up right here on CS9. And the place to get your fix of WWE action is CS9, and it's on every Wednesday right after the PBA. So that's more reason for you to just put away that remote control and keep it here on CS9. As our coverage of the KFC PBA Philippine Cup continues from the Araneta Coliseum, with the Sta Lucia Realtors, the reigning PBA Philippine Cup champions, taking on the previous Philippine Cup champions and reigning Fiesta Cup champions, the Barangay Ginebra Kings. It's a 5-point lead for Sta Lucia, 33-28. There you see Dennis Miranda has been pretty much the main maestro here for Sta Lucia. And the Realtors, in fact, received their championship rings right before this game, and they've got to be pumped up, and the scoreboard shows exactly the effects.
Well, good defense there by Omolon, as he really got a hand on that shot of Elterbrand. Question should come out, when does Ginebra get their championship ring?
That's true.
That's true.
That's a good question. And Dennis Da getting a little tied up there with Eric Menk, and Menk will nonetheless be called with a foul. That will be the second personal foul against Major Payne. 18 seconds left on the shot clock here for Santa Lucia with Miranda and Ryan Reyes running the backcourt here. Omolon and Dennis Da shoring up the front court here, and Dennis Espino right there in the middle of it. And Miranda going cross-court, quick pass over to Espino, and Espino at the last second releases and gets it.
Well, 10 points in the game now for Dennis Espino. The veteran has come up big time here in the first half.
Espino looking for Menk down low. Menk over the pass inside.
Aquino's having a tough time here as he's missed a couple of easy shots and then he just fumbled the ball out of bounds. Eric Mink picked up his second foul a little bit earlier, so Crisano comes in for him.
From one bruiser to the next here for the Barangay Ginebra Kings. 5 minutes and 18 left here in the first quarter. A 7-point lead, and we're seeing Chris Bacana get ready to re-enter the action as well. In the meantime, the Realtors, Da over to Reyes. Back to Omolon, looking like he was going to take that shot. And again, the Realtors are really taking their time here, and you can see they're controlling the pace of this ball game.
Well, they're moving that basketball against that 2-3 zone of Ginebra. You know, Aquino was taken out of the game by Sunday Sebastian, so his 3 blunders really sent him back to the bench.
Helterbrand to cutting Maki Escalona. Crisano back out to Salvacion, and Salvacion with a shot from beyond the sunset. And that gets the Kings to within 4, 35-31. Reyes over to Omolon. And the Realtors just looking for their opportunity to pounce and get it inside, but this time Da with the jumper.
Well, Maki Escalona gambled for the steal there, leaving Da with a wide open shot. You know, the 3-point shot, Vito, has really kept Ginebra in this basketball game. They had 4 already here in the first half.
Back to Escalona. Escalona trying to get away from Miranda, but this time it's the ball that gets away from Escalona. He gets it back, and Crisano taking the 3. And now Omolon, he's outnumbered. And this possession will stay with Barangay Ginebra as Kelly Williams and Bacana get back in. And JJ Helterbrand back to the bench here. Paulo Mendoza also back in for the Santa Lucia Realtors.
So both coaches really mixing up their lineups, using different combinations. I think Coach John Uchico has no choice, though.
That's right. That's right. Well, as he mentioned at the top of the coverage, these 2 championship teams have intact lineups. Although the Barangay Ginebra Kings obviously are missing the services of some of their key players, and really the only player lost from the Santa Lucia Realtor line was Alvin Bua. Escalona working from the outside. Look at the assist picture so far, and Santa Lucia getting that ball to move and getting it inside with 11 already. And that entry pass meant for Alex Crisano sails out of bounds.
Well, Dennis Espino pulled the chair from under him. He never gets the steal.
And it's back-to-back steals. This time Ryan Reyes getting the open lane.
You really have to be careful with that basketball around Ryan Reyes. I mean, he's one of the best thieves we have. Well, he steals the ball a lot here in the PBA.
Bacana and Holper at the high post, handing off to Salvacion, and there's the quick pass inside. And Holper with 4 points to his name in the game. Barangay Ginebra still trailing by 8, 41-33. The Realtors led by as many as 12 points in the first quarter. Oh, and that one was a missed opportunity for Santa Lucia with Omolon losing the possession. And this one goes back to the Barangay Ginebra Kings right after this timeout. Our score, 41-33. at the Big Dome, and it's time for our KFC assist delivery of the quarter. And this time, credited to the Barangay Ginebra Kings with Alex Crisano, handing out to Sunday Salvacion, who was waiting to launch the three, just one of many of Sunday Salvacion's specialties. And that was our KFC assist delivery of the quarter. Magpa-deliver sa KFC, just dial 887-8888. KFC, it's finger licking good.
Well, Vito, this is a critical time here in the first half for Ginebra as they're down by 8. They've really been tugging at the coattails of the Sta Lucia team the entire first half. You don't really want to lose ground going into the last 2 minutes.
Crisano out to Pacana, and that's going to be a traveling call against Pacana.
That's not exactly what you wanted coming out of a timeout.
Worst time it could have been. It could have happened. So with 2 minutes and 15, it is back to the Realtors with a chance to extend the lead back to double digits, just like they did in the first quarter. Mendoza out to Reyes. Espino
2 minutes.
takes the jumper, and the mid-range touches there for Dennis Espino.
Dennis has found the fountain of youth here in the first half. I mean, he's been the most dominant player on the court.
Well, a lot has to be said about the conditioning of the Sta Lucia Realtors, and a lot of credit has been placed on famed coach Kevin Barboza, who worked very hard with the Sta Lucia Realtors and made them work very hard as well. And this possession staying with Sta Lucia. 14 seconds left on the shot clock, a minute and 27 left in the first half.
Kelvin Gregorio is now in the game for Sta Lucia.
The one and only rookie pick here for the Sta Lucia Realtors, selected 10th overall in the first round. And Kelly Williams dropping bombs on the Barangay Ginebra Kings, and it's now a 12-point lead for Sta Lucia.
That's right, Sta Lucia finishing this quarter strongly.
Salvacion inside the Holper. And after the denial, Ryan Reyes taking it upon himself to attack the basket, and that will be an offensive foul. Nice job by Chris Pacana taking the charge.
Ryan Reyes. That is the second personal.
And he really took the charge. I mean,
oh yes, he's having some trouble peeling himself off the court, but it looks like he's okay. And Joseph Yeo back in the mix. And Joe Pacana calling the shots here for the Kings, along with Maki Escalona in the backcourt. Salvacion making his way inside, and he gets the floater. And now Salvacion with 7 points in the game, 32 seconds and counting in the first half.
30-second timeout, Sta Lucia Realtors.
And the Realtors playing around with the clock here, calling for a timeout. And the Realtors still ahead by 10.
Well, Coach Boyette trying to organize a play here to make sure he can get 2 more points here in the second quarter. Of course, Ginebra should get the basketball back. So on the other side, Ginebra wanting to get a stop and hopefully being able to get this lead under 10 points.
And we'd like to remind you again that the PBA heads to the United Sports Arena in Pasig tomorrow at 6 p.m. where the Air 21 Express will be taking on the Talk and Text Tropang Texters. And you can see it on a delayed telecast on CS9 beginning at 11:45 in the evening.
Well, Talk and Text, one of the stronger teams in the league. Air 21 will be undermanned going into that game because of some suspensions.
That's right. And Mendoza stepping up to the plate to launch the three, down to 20 seconds. And the Barangay Ginebra Kings can use all of the time that they want to possibly make a good play here, but they decide to call for a timeout.
Actually a good timeout there by Coach John Uchico, because you can't use it anyway. So he took advantage of it here in the first half using the 30-second timeout, probably trying to set up something, try to get this lead down to 8 points.
Well, it should be an interesting discussion in the locker room for the Barangay Ginebra Kings in halftime, as Coach John Uchico will try to squeeze the best out of his players. as they try to get past their undermanned lineup, missing the services of Caguioa, Valenzuela, Reyes, and Mamaril. And so,
on the other side, you have Kelly Williams. He's standing at 6'7". Dennis Espino at 6'6". Kelvin Gregorio at 6'4". Santa Lucia with a very big team.
That's going to be reaching in, ball against Paulo Mendoza.
That is his first one on the Realtors.
But the Realtors still have a couple of fouls to spare here, so 8.9 remaining here in the second quarter. Inbound coming from Escalona. Escalona over to Holper, back to Escalona, covered by Joseph Yo, and Joseph Yo getting a little too sticky with the defense, and that's going to be a foul.
Number 18, Joseph Yo.
That's only the second team foul on Santa Lucia, so you may see at least one more foul here coming from them.
Holper thinking about it, trying to find Pacana inside. It's back to Holper, behind the back to Crisano. Did he make it in time? Did he make that basket in time? The officials are going to try to check the replay and see if Alex Crisano did in fact release that touch shot before the buzzer went off.
Well, from first view, it looked like it was still in his hands, but let's take a better look at it here because he fumbles the basketball. See if he's able to get it off.
Oh, that's a tough one to call. That is a very tough one to call. And maybe from another angle, maybe this will give us a better idea. You can see a little bit of the clock on top there. There you see Crisano fumbling a little bit with the ball, and it didn't look like he'd released it in time. And so, yes, the referees have nullified that basket, and so the lead will stand 45-35 in favor of the Santa Lucia Realtors at the end of the first half. Time to head to Cheska Litton, who's hanging out now with Dennis Espino.
Thank you so much, Vito. Now, Dennis, this is your first game for the conference. Ano naman yung mga preparations na ginawa nyo dahil ikaw nakita kita sa airport? Ano yung mga preparations na ginawa nyo for this conference?
Well, yun nga, nung nagkita tayo sa Boston, yun, sa mga training namin, tapos galing rin kami sa Middle East. So talagang medyo hindi maganda yung last conference namin, so medyo pinag-prepare namin mabuti to.
Medyo hindi maganda yung last conference pero sige, since kakabigay lang ng medals ninyo ngayon and ikaw ang nakascore ng first 8 points of the game, 10 in total already, may naka-affect ba to sa game mo? Mas nainganyo ka ba? Mas na-excite ka ba?
Well, oo, yung lalo na nung binigay yung ring sa amin, medyo feel na feel mo pa, lalo yung nakaraan na championship ko, so mas nakaka-excite pa lalo.
Okay, well, thank you so much for your time, Dennis. Good luck. Okay, back to you, Vito and Coach Norman.
Thank you, Cheska. So the training in Boston and even the training under Kevin Barbosa seems to be paying off here as the Santa Lucia Realtors have raced to a 10-point lead to take control of the first half. Our halftime report and the second half of action, coming up on the PBA on CS9.
Halftime here at the Araneta Coliseum finds Santa Lucia Realty up by 10 points, 45-35 against the Barangay Ginebra Kings. And obviously, Sta Lucia Realtors, after getting their championship ring, started out like a house on fire, led by the rejuvenated Dennis Espino. He had 8 out of the first 10 points, and they raced off like a house on fire. But slowly but surely, the Barangay Ginebra Kings reeled in the Sta Lucia Realtors, and they were able to tie things up. But in the second quarter, they were able to once again pull away. That's why we have the Sta Lucia Realtors up by 10. One of the main keys here for the Sta Lucia Realtors coming to this game was, number one, they wanted to be able to take away the crowd factor, and they did exactly that. At the same time, they wanted to be able to make sure that they took advantage of these wounded Barangay Ginebra Kings, because they are missing a lot of their key players, and that's exactly what they did. That's why in the first 24 minutes of play, they're up by a comfortable 10 points. But what happened over the weekend? So many games happen here in the PBA, and of course, so many fines immediately being given out because the play has been stellar all around, and so many players already fined. These players, of course, from Air 21, Homer Se, fined 32,000 pesos and also has to serve out a 1-game suspension. That, of course, includes the Game 7 Conference Finals misconduct. Arwin Santos with a 20,000 peso fine and a 1-game suspension. And at the same time, also Winnie Arboleda was fined 6,000 for their misconduct over the weekend. Well, those players are going to sit out in their next game. But before anything else, we're going to take another break. When we come back, this very exciting ball game, we're going to give you over to the panel when we come back. And they're going to discuss and, of course, break down all the numbers. It's the Barangay Ginebra Kings going up against the Sta Lucia Realtors.
Welcome to halftime here at the Araneta Coliseum for the second game of this PBA Wednesday doubleheader. It is champion against champion. That is the story of today's game. The reigning PBA Philippine Cup champions, the Sta Lucia Realtors, taking on the previous PBA Philippine Cup champions, the Barangay Ginebra Kings. And as of the first 2 quarters, after seeing what we've seen, it has been the Realtors really putting on a clinic here on the way to a 10-point lead, 45-35. Dito Lazatin here along with Coach Norman Black, and we'll take you through some of the highlights from the first 2 quarters. Dennis Espino making his presence felt early. In fact, he was responsible for the first 10 points of the Realtors in this game when they raced to a 10-0 lead. Bacano has been getting a lot of minutes, however, for the Barangay Ginebra Kings. He's been trying to control the pace here and get his own baskets as well for the Kings, but so far he's only managed to score 3 points after 14 minutes of action. The Rookie of the Year, Ryan Reyes, and he has been absolutely fearless in his attacks, getting finger rolls like that, or in other cases, drawing the foul, getting the contact. Then in the second quarter, the Barangay Ginebra Kings managed to tie this game up. Willie Wilson able to help the cause here for Barangay Ginebra. Sunday Salvacion also adding some outside firepower, and he already has 7 points to his name. And Norman Gonzalez, however, talk about outside firepower. He was left alone from the outside a little too often, and he managed to sink 2 3-pointers already in this game. And Nelbert Omolon, who actually started this game for the Sta Lucia Realtors, also doing some of the damage in the second quarter. And so we have this 45-35 at the end of the first 2 quarters in favor of Sta Lucia. So after what we've seen, Coach, where exactly do you think the Sta Lucia Realtors are excelling?
Well, definitely, Sta Lucia got off to a 10-0 start. They're up by 10 points here at halftime. The defense has been the key, holding the Barangay Ginebra team to only 32% shooting from 2 points in that first half, forcing them into 15 turnovers and turning those turnovers into 10 turnover points for them. So the defense has been clicking for Sta Lucia so far in this basketball game. They also have 9 fast break points, so they've been getting out and pushing the pace, along with Ryan Reyes and, of course, Miranda have really been pushing the pace in the first half. Ginebra's got to do a better job of taking care of the basketball and getting back on defense.
Now, Coach, at the top of this coverage, one of the questions I asked you was who you expected to rise to the occasion here for Barangay Ginebra, with guys like Mark Aguiwa and Junti Valenzuela and 2 other Kings out of commission here. After what you've seen, Do you have any idea of which player? Is there a particular player here in Barangay Ginebra that you'll be watching out for, and you think this guy really needs to deliver for Barangay Ginebra?
Well, Miranda just put 2 more points on the board for Sta Lucia. Definitely, I did not say Paul Artadi or Sunday Sabashan. And those 2 guys are leading Ginebra in scoring here at the beginning of the second half with 7 points each. Add another 2 points to that for Paul Artadi, so maybe he might be the man tonight for Ginebra.
He's now leading the scoring back for Barangay Ginebra. JJ Helterbrand with 5 points. Holper and Menk both with 4 points each. So these guys are severely limited, especially Eric Menk, who we really expect more output from. And so we are already underway here with our second half of action between Barangay Ginebra and the Sta Lucia Realtors. Still a 10-point lead for the Realtors. Omolon confidently taking that corner pocket shot, but that is just off the mark, and it's now Helterbrand dictating the pace.
The good news for Ginebra is at the beginning of the second half, they're down by 7 points. If they could just cut down on their turnovers here in the second half, they have a better chance of winning this basketball game.
And having a couple of more of those outside bounds from JJ Helterbrand will definitely help Barangay Ginebra. It's now down to a 7-point lead. Williams to Dennis Espino. Espino, green light for 3. No. And now Paul Artadi pushing it for Barangay Ginebra. And Artadi turned back by Dennis Miranda. Ronald Tubid. Oh, and a surprise 3, and that's back-to-back 3s for JJ Helterbrand.
That was way beyond that 3-point line.
And so just like that, Helterbrand now in double digits with 11 points and giving the fans something to cheer about here. And they've been looking for something to cheer about all game long. This could be another one. A missed shot from the Sta Lucia Realtors. Back to the Kings. Artadi checking his range in rush hour.
And he gets bumped on his way to the basket. There's going to be 3 fouls on Miranda. The last couple of times down, Vito, Sta Lucia settling for the 3-point shots against his own defensive Ginebra, missing both. Ginebra really taking advantage of it.
And so, yes,
they're only down by 4.
And so 14 seconds left on the shot clock here for the Barangay Ginebra Kings. Dennis Miranda brought out here, making way for Christian Coronel, who's seeing his first minutes of action in this game. Hustle for that loose ball, and it is back to the Barangay Ginebra Kings thanks to Eric Menk. Tubid looking for Menk inside. Menk feels comfortable with that hook, but that's short. And that ball bouncing the way of the Realtors, and Dennis Espino looking to go coast to coast, and now Helterbrand. He has the lane, and he was thinking of passing it to Ronald Tubid, but he decides to go for it, and now it is the Sta Lucia Realtors forced to call a timeout here. This is not how they wanted their third quarter to begin, and the Barangay Ginebra Kings now showing signs of life here in the third with 9 minutes and 23 to go, capped off by this easy basket from JJ Helterbrand. More PBA action from the Big Dome coming up right here on CS9. And tomorrow, the PBA action continues, and we'll be heading to the Inara Sports Arena in Pasig for a game between the Air 21 Express and the Talk and Text Drop on Texters. That game is on at 6 p.m., and you can see it on CS9 on a delayed telecast beginning at 11:45 in the evening. Then on Friday, it's off to the Cuneta Astrodome for another doubleheader with the Rain or Shine Alaska Painters taking on Red Bull Baracos. San Miguel will also be in action in the second game against the Pure Foods TJ Giants. Now back to the game at hand. In a little less than 3 minutes, the Barangay Ginebra Kings have managed to turn things around, forcing the Realtors to call for a timeout. They're now only down by 2, coming back from that 10-point deficit.
And 3-point shooting will do that for you, as JJ has hit a couple of 3-pointers here in the third quarter. Coronel's in the game for the first time for Sta Lucia. That's not the way you want to enter the game.
Nope, not at all. 4 for 7 shooting from beyond the arc here for the Barangay Ginebra Kings. So maybe some kind of rhythm maybe coming, maybe the Kings have found some kind of rhythm here in the third quarter. Paul Artadi. And now, inside the Helterbrand, bounce pass to make for, oh, what could have been and what should have been an easy basket. And now Coronel. Inside to Ryan Reyes, who forces the issue, and he gets his basket.
And good non-call there by the referee, as Reyes was already in the air when he ran over Tubid.
Artadi in the corner, in, out, and back in again.
And that's 2 3-pointers for Paul Artadi. Oh, wow, he must be answering all the questions from all those people who said if he ever got a shot, if he was ever able to shoot the basketball, he could be a complete player.
Christian Coronel has an answer on the other end, and that is a 3, sending the lead back up to 4, 52-48 with 7 minutes and 53 remaining here in the third. And Coronel quickly getting back on tight defense against Paul Artadi, and Artadi almost having some difficulty trying to get that off. Holper creating some space here for Helterbrand. And Helterbrand, he's got something in store. Let's see what he'll drag out of his bag of tricks over the Tubid, releasing it at the last second.
And a foul was called.
Oh. So missing an opportunity and getting a foul called in the process. That will be the third personal against a very frustrated Ronald Tubid. And Coach Jong Wichiko contemplating whether he'll make a roster change here in the third quarter. But in the meantime, Ryan Reyes, the Rookie of the Year, over to Omolon, and now Coronel. There's the cut for Kelly Williams. And now Reyes down low, tapped away by Holper. It's back to the Kings. 3-on-1. The Kings with the numbers and the basket from Helterbrand.
And JJ taking that ball strong to the basket on that 3-on-1 fast break. It's now the turn of Ginebra to run up and down the court.
Takes a special kind of player to take over a game, and that's exactly what JJ Helterbrand seems to be doing here in the early goings of the third quarter. Espino at the high post. Quick dish and a foul by Holper.
He's going to get 2 shots out of this play. Good pass there coming from Dennis Espino.
Third foul on Mike Holper. Here's a look at the transition play by the Barangay Ginebra Kings. And JJ Helterbrand was looking for a foul to be called against Coronel, but none called. On the other end, Reyes.
You can normally tell when a player thinks he can out-jump the opposing player, because JJ did not hesitate on that play. Took it straight to the basket.
And here's a look back at what happened earlier. The Pure Foods Giants winning over the Red Bull Barako 77-73, and that was a come-from-behind win for them as well, mounting a furious run in the fourth quarter. Less than 7 minutes to go in the third. Artadi finds a space inside and gets the best of Coronel.
And the fans love that one. As Artadi gets the foul, but you can't really fault his hustle.
And it is back to a 2-point ball game. Paul Artadi, a little spill there. And here's another look. Artadi getting that first step.
Well, Artadi and Coronel are really going at it here. Artadi's a much improved player this year, at least based on this game so far.
Cresano will beef up the front court here for the Kings, along with Junjun Cabato, and Marlo Aquino is also back as well. And it will be Yo and Coronel taking care of the possession here for the Sta Lucia Realtors in the backcourt. Yo, high post with Marlo. Coronel had a good look.
Well, Coronel's really earning his minutes here in the second half for Sta Lucia, as Coach Boyette went to his third point guard so far in the game.
Should be interesting to see whether Paul Artadi will have an answer to that one, but Helterbrand decides to take it. Coronel with a rebound. Over to the other end, Joseph Yo thinking about it. Omolon from the point.
Oh!
Williams picking up the garbage and turning it into gold. Kelly Williams delivering the throwdown. That was more than a dunk. That was a statement. It's a 7-point lead now for the Santa Lucia Realtors with 5 minutes and 53. You know that's worth another look. And Kelly Williams converting, putting an exclamation point on that one as we head into yet another timeout. We'll be right back after this. And we are back here at the Big Dome. The Barangay Ginebra Kings forced to call a timeout in order to regroup after that thunderous putback from Kelly Williams. And now Ginebra staring at a 7-point lead. Crisano. Every time he gets a hold of the leather, the fans love it.
Well, they definitely react as Marlo Aquino is going to get a foul on this play.
And the fans react even if nothing happens in the end.
Crisano's not that solid of a low post player, but if you're Ginebra, you have to go to somebody down there.
And Bacana back in. Oh, that was a tough shot going up against Christian Coronel. Was putting up some tough defense.
And number 41, Christian Coronel. That is his first 3 on the Realtors.
And that will be the first foul called against Coronel. Chris Bacana through the line.
Well, Coronel is probably going to be substituted here by Paulo Mendoza, who's at the scorer's table. And Coronel has done his job. And you just come in for 4 or 5 minutes, with a couple of 3-pointers, run the team, you still have the lead. So he did a great job off the bench for Santa Lucia.
First free throw made by Chris Bacana, the former St. Francis of Assisi Cubs, and he makes both free throws. And we'd like to thank, by the way, the support of Pierre Cardin, contemporary men's apparel from Paris, and Clark's, the shoes designed for living. 5 minutes and 25 now remaining in the third quarter. And the Santa Lucia Realtors refusing to give up the lead, and Kelly Williams way off the mark with that three. And so it will be the five-sum of Salvacion, Helterbrand, Bacana, Crisano, and Capatu on the floor here. Oh, and Crisano getting the better of the veteran Marlo Aquino.
And I apologize to Crisano because that was a pretty good up and under move there.
Williams handoff to Aquino, back to Williams, trying to bank it.
And Marlo's going to pick up another foul on this play.
And that'll be the second called against the Skyscraper.
I'll give Crisano some credit also on defense that time. Look at this up and under. Nice fake.
And so Alex Crisano saying, see you later, as he delivers the close range 2 for Barangay Ginebra. It's now a 3-point advantage being enjoyed by Santa Lucia with less than 5 minutes to go.
He was a little bit off balance on that play, but he was able to get it to go.
You can't complain with the results. And now,
yeah, why not try again?
And Bacano, and will Marlo Aquino let it happen again? Not this time around. And Crisano found himself a little too deep there. On the other end, Crisano nowhere to be found.
Well, Crisano got hammered on that last play. That's why he ended up on the floor. If you don't hear a whistle, you got to keep playing.
That's right. And Crisano showing his displeasure with the non-call there as Marlo Aquino steps to the line. 6.8 points in the previous season. And Aquino during the Fiesta Conference averaged about 47% from the line here. And he splits his charities. And that's enough to bring the lead back up to 4. Bacana. And Crisano really trying to get his position down low there. But it's Helterbrand who penetrates. Oh, and this could be cause for concern. Oh no, he's fine. Looked a little bit like Helterbrand was in pain there after going down from that last attempt.
And we hit that Coca-Cola Zero sign underneath the basket.
May we request all players to please proceed to the change area in front of your respective benches.
And the officials requesting for the players to stay in their benches, hoping to keep things under control here and trying to avoid a repeat of what happened over the weekend.
Once again, please proceed to the shaded area in front of your respective benches.
All right, so the officials just trying to maintain order here in the third quarter. Time stopped at 4 minutes and 12.
Let's see exactly what the referees are going to do here.
Well, we don't fully understand exactly why.
Penalty 1 on number 13, Marlo Aquino.
So hard foul by Marlo Aquino against JJ Helterbrand,
3 minutes.
which means Marlo will have to sit out for 3 minutes now. Dennis Espino will go back into the game. So penalty 1, flagrant foul on Marlo Aquino as he goes to the bench.
And that also means free throws, and I believe also possession for the Barangay Ginebra Kings after this.
And you can see that the referees are trying to crack down on the unnecessary contact.
Right.
So there's normal contact, and then there's contact that's a little bit excessive.
Yes.
Where you really hammered the guy.
So this is definitely going to hurt Sta Lucia because Barangay Ginebra managed to get 2 free points just like that, and now have an opportunity to tie this ball game, if not take the lead if they make a 3. 17 seconds on the shot clock. Tough position for Helterbrand. No foul called, and here come the Realtors on the run. Yo with the spin move, and that is a lost ball, but it will stay with Sta Lucia.
I think Ginebra has to understand here. If you don't hear a whistle, you got to keep playing. No sense in complaining to the referees. Because the referees rarely ever change their calls.
That is true. More often than not, that is an argument you don't win.
They are the judge and jury here.
And so Joseph Yo making good use of his time at the line.
I'm going to the PBA office for you.
You see Marlo Aquino there talking about that foul he committed.
Well, he actually still has an opportunity to re-enter this third quarter, probably around the 1 minute mark. And Crisano taking that rebound, quickly crossing over, and Salvacion too wide open. Salvacion getting his own offensive rebound and the return.
Well, you rarely see Sta Lucia play poor defense like that, as Sunday had a wide open 3-point shot. He missed it and was able to just walk in and lay the ball up.
And this is now the closest that the Kings have been here in the second half. Within 1 point of the Realtors, and now Espino. Oh, and that one! Crisano getting a good hand on that, but was there extra contact?
I think Crisano has to be careful here. He will be whistled for a technical if he doesn't calm down.
But the funny thing is, Alex Crisano.
Let's take a look at it. He did get some ball, but did he get the arm? Yes,
he
did.
He definitely got the arm, so that was a good call. A funny thing is, Alex Crisano looking for the approval of the fans right after that call.
Either that or the approval of the commissioner. But, you know, he got hammered by Marlo a few plays earlier, and he's probably saying, hey, this is the same. That's a foul right there. Yeah. You have to call that.
Yeah, clear as day. So the call will stand, and 2 free throws will be coming up for Dennis Espino. And Willie Wilson is now in for Barangay Ginebra. Espino going 2 for 2. And he now has 14 points in the game. And it may be, this foul may be called against Norman Gonzalez, who...
Only foul number 8,
Paulo Mendoza. You can see that coming as Paulo was riding him the entire way. He's going to send Pacana to the line for 2 shots. The game is slowed down here. Both teams are committing a lot of fouls.
Oh, definitely. Both teams already in penalty. And so Chris Pacana already with 5 points on the board. And at this point, really, every free throw will count for Barangay Ginebra, even if we're still in the third quarter. Barangay Ginebra already with several opportunities to tie this game and in some cases even take the lead. But they've fallen short so far. Pacana, second free throw is good. Kings now within 2. Paulo Mendoza directing action for Santa Lucia. Mendoza on the outside, almost a lost ball there. Willie Wilson sticking close to Mendoza. And a lot of time getting wasted here. Only 5 left on the shot clock. Yo will have to release this one. And he goes up and under. No.
24-second violation. I give a lot of credit to Willie Wilson there. Playing good defense against Paulo Mendoza. Well, Joseph Yo was able to get past him, but not in time to beat the clock.
Denok Miranda getting ready to suit up and return to the floor for Santa Lucia. And Capatu been very quiet in this ball game. Over to Salvacion. Salvacion tapped from behind by Yo. It's back to Salvacion. Salvacion from close range. No basket, but a foul.
Number 28, Gonzalez.
If you're Coach Boyet Fernandez, this might be your biggest fear. You know Ginebra's undermanned. They don't have some of their key players here.
That's right.
But yet, the Ginebra team, they're out here fighting. And they're right in this basketball game.
So Salvacion didn't actually get a lot of opportunities to take free throws, being more of an outside operator in the previous season, but he is getting his opportunities now. And this one will tie it up. Yes! We are deadlocked here at 63, and only the second deadlock of the game. The last time this game was tied was a 25-all in the first quarter, I believe.
Well, Ginebra showing a little bit of zone pressure and then falling back into a 2-3 zone.
Gonzalez, he's got the license to take that 3, but he was off on this one. Down low to Wilson. Wilson, Crisano asking for it in the paint. Over to Cabatu. Cabatu leans in. And now Cabatu contributing to the cause. And it's the Barangay Ginebra Kings on top for the first time.
How do you describe it? Scrappy?
I guess that's a good way of describing it.
Scrappy for everything at this point of the game.
Ryan
Reyes now attracting that double team.
Substitution, Billy Williams and Norman Gonzalez. 8 seconds to shoot.
Well, now the firepower of the Santa Lucia Realtors.
Well, Kelly would normally sit out to the end of the 3rd, but I think Coach Boyet has no choice but to bring him back.
Williams, tough shot. Didn't have a lot of time. And the Realtors trying to keep this alive, but it stays with Ginebra thanks to the save from Pacana. And Pacana weighing his options, looking for Wilson inside, but he throws it out of bounds.
Well, he had the right idea, throwing the pass away from the defense. Willie Wilson was not ready for that pass.
Now just a minute and 11 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Cross court. Reyes faking out Crisano, and he gets the basket. And now we're tied again. 3rd deadlock of the game. Less than a minute to go. Can the Barangay Ginebra Kings regain the lead on this play? Crisano at the low post, covered by Espino. Salvacion doesn't have room to take that 3 he likes to take, but now he does. That's off. And the rebound taken by the Realtors. Intercepted by Pacana. Hustle and bustle action here as we near the end of the 3rd quarter. Salvacion can't get the bank. Over to Denok Miranda, keeping the tempo up. Yo against 3 defenders. That's going to be a foul.
Well, Pacana with a hand-checking foul. It's going to be his 2nd personal.
Foul on number 22, Chris Pacana, penalty.
And it is Chris Pacana being credited with that foul. And as we mentioned, both teams already in the penalty, so more free ones coming up here for Santa Lucia. And Yo, who has made all of his points from the line so far in this game.
Just look at the Ginebra team, Vito, and you wonder, will fatigue, rear its ugly head here in the fourth quarter?
That's a valid point.
Yeah, a lot of their star players have played a lot of minutes. A lot of the bench players have played more minutes than they're used to.
That's true. And Yo making good on his second free throw. So a slim lead now being held by the Realtors, 66-65. Helterbrand breaking that press over to Bacana. And Helterbrand looking for a little freedom to move here with 13 seconds and counting. However, about a 2-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock, so Helterbrand will have 4 seconds left to take this one, and he takes the off-balance jumper. No, Espino ahead, a second to go. Will Yo let it go in time? Yes, he will, but that basket was off, and so the third quarter is over, and we have a real ball game on our hands. The Sta Lucia Realtors ahead, but only by one, 66-65, with JJ Helterbrand starting off the third quarter to keep the Barangay Ginebra Kings alive in this one. Knocking down a couple of threes to start things off. Christian Coronel, on the other hand, proving to be a challenge as well for the guards of the Barangay Ginebra Kings, but it has been Helterbrand who has been the source of life and has also been the inspiration for the Barangay Ginebra Kings here in the third. Fourth quarter action coming up right after this.
Substitution for Artadi for Chris Wahana.
Welcome back to the Big Dome as we dive headfirst into fourth quarter action. In today's featured matchup, it's the second game of our PBA Wednesday doubleheader, Barangay Ginebra against the Sta Lucia Realtors in our continuing coverage of the KFC PBA Philippine Cup. Vito Lazatin here at courtside along with Coach Norman Black, and Denok Miranda getting all athletic down low to extend the lead of Sta Lucia to 3, 68-65.
And he does it against the zone defense of Ginebra, which is quite difficult to do.
A crucial third quarter, as you can see here, for Barangay Ginebra, outscoring the Realtors by 9, led mostly by JJ Helterbrand. And look at this. Threes are raining down courtesy of Junjun Kabatu.
That's the 8th three-pointer of Ginebra so far in this basketball game.
As we mentioned, Junjun Kabatu, the lone new acquisition of Barangay Ginebra. Kabatu, a 3-year veteran of the PBA.
Ginebra did a much better job in that third quarter, Vito, shooting 50% from the field compared to only 35% for Sta Lucia. They also cut down on their turnovers. We mentioned they had 15 turnovers in the first half, only 3 in the third quarter. So they did a much better job of taking care of the basketball.
Dennis Espino now slowly but surely trying to do the damage from the line. And he's good on his second free throw. And now Dennis Espino leading the pack with 16 points in the game. Wilson on the floor here to start the fourth quarter off for Barangay Ginebra. And the third quarter field goes, better shooting from Barangay Ginebra, 50% clip. And now JJ Helterbrand moving inside. And on the other end, Denok Miranda trying to get the garbage points. And now we have JJ Helterbrand who's got another wide open lane, and you see Paul Artadi.
Oh, nobody home there for Sta Lucia. Wide open layup.
And Paul Artadi was
Helterbrand.
And Artadi was trying to keep Helterbrand protected there, making sure that nobody would interrupt that basket. And Ginebra back on top, 72-70. And we've got a foul down low. This one could be called against Kabatu. Oh no, it will be Willie Wilson charged with a foul.
It's Willie Wilson trying to box out Kelly Williams on the other side. As Coronel comes back in the game, Miranda goes out. Ginebra is up by 2 points here.
And the Realtors' lone rookie, Kelvin Gregorio, out of the University of the East, also on the floor here to start off the fourth quarter. And Dennis Espino getting a tough time down low. First attempt by Kelvin Gregorio, actually, as a PBA player. Espino losing the handle again, and Eric Menk making life difficult for Espino. On this one, off the foot of Kelvin Gregorio.
Sta Lucia a little out of sync here in the second half after going up by 10 points in the first half.
And
Omolon quickly replacing Gregorio here.
Well, you don't want to take the rookie out because you don't want him to lose his confidence,
That's
but
true.
at the same time, you don't want to lose the game. So
Yes.
you bring your better small forward back in the game in Omolon.
Oh, beautiful dish from Artadi, finding Hilterbrand, cutting down low. And Hilterbrand going straight for the heart.
Well, Miranda overplayed Hilterbrand. He got a layup. This time it was Omolon who overplayed him. He went backdoor once again with a layup.
And this is the Kings' biggest lead of the ball game. Rebound by Wilson. And Espino really having a tough time matching up against Eric Menk down low. And Artadi trying to play deliberately here. Kabatu over to Hilterbrand. Hilterbrand trying to come up with a surprise three. Wilson inside, big offensive rebound. Gets the contact, but no shot. And now Kelly Williams trying to go coast to coast. He sees the opening, but that's stripped away. And now Hilterbrand, 2-on-1 with Kabatu on the other end. Oh, very, very difficult shot thrown up there by Hilterbrand.
Well, JJ should have given up the basketball there to his teammate. He had a better look at the basket. He's now asking for a substitution.
And so Hilterbrand heading to the bench as another explosive player steps onto the floor in Ronald Dubin. Mike Holper also coming back.
I think JJ needs this rest because he played 10 of the 12 minutes in the third quarter.
And he's the kind of player that you can expect to return to finish off this ball game anyway for Barangay Ginebra, win or lose. Omolon over to Williams. Reyes falling for a screen. Reyes taking the shot in the face of Eric Menk.
Well, Eric Menk was in no man's land defensively that time. He didn't step up on Reyes. He was not able to really challenge that shot.
And now Holper over to Artadi. Artadi, very difficult pass inside, but it's saved by Wilson. And Artadi off with that three. And here come the Realtors on the run. 4 Realtors down on the floor just like that in Coronel with a headshot, no. Williams with a left hook. And now Williams in double digits with 10 points in the ball game, and Sta Lucia have managed to tie this ball game up. 6th deadlock of the game.
Well, that's a big shot there for Ginebra with JJ sitting on the bench as Holper knocks down the 15-footer.
And now Reyes trying to match speed against speed. Very athletic. Ryan Reyes just didn't get the right angle for that scoop shot. And now Artadi. That will be a foul called against the Sta Lucia Realtors.
Looks like you can expect when Paul Artadi's in the game, definitely the tempo is going to really get a lot faster
Timeout, Sta Lucia
for the
Realtors.
Ginebra team.
And the Sta Lucia Realtors calling for a timeout, maybe looking to catch their breath with 7 minutes and 29 remaining here in the fourth. And now we turn you back over to Anthony Santay, who has this report about Air 21.
Thanks a lot, Vito. Obviously, a really slam-bang affair what happened over the weekend, and 3 players from Air 21 with fines and suspensions. Homer said 32,000 pesos in fine and a 1-game suspension, which includes, of course, the Game 7 that happened last conference, finals misconduct there. Arwin Santos fined 20,000 pesos and a 1-game suspension. And finally, Winnie Arboleda fined 6,000 big ones. Vito?
Thank you, Anthony. And tomorrow, Air 21 will be in action, and they'll be taking on Talk and Text. And what's interesting is, aside from those 2 players that are suspended, they're actually going to be only 8 strong tomorrow, because it is reported that Doug Kramer has his wedding tomorrow, and he'll be, and naturally he will not be attending. And I believe Casey Stein will also not be able to play, because he's also involved in that wedding. So an 8-man lineup is all Coach Monterasol will be able to count on. At least that's what the reports say in tomorrow's game.
And congratulations to Doug Kramer. I will be there at his wedding tomorrow also. I'm sure when he made the arrangements, he never thought that PBA would have a game on Thursday.
And so now back to fourth quarter action here. Less than 7 minutes to go. Barangay Ginebra with a 2-point lead. And they have only, and the biggest lead of the ball game really has only been 4 points, and it all happened right here in the fourth quarter. And that ball rather tapped away by Paul Artadi, and he draws the foul from Christian Coronel.
Well, Coach John Uchico looking for an advantage foul here. Instead, the referees will call it a loose ball foul. So side throw for Ginebra.
And now Christian Coronel will be replaced by Dennis Miranda as we approach the halfway mark of the fourth quarter. Holper on the floor along with Tubit and Artadi, Eric Menk, and Sunday Salvacion for Barangay Ginebra. Salvacion over to Menk, quick pass to Holper. Holper lucky enough to get that foul.
Well, Coach Boyette's not too happy with the call. He's going to go against Kelly Williams. Great passing there coming from Eric Mink. Great interior passing.
Mike Holper.
You know, a guy like Mike Holper, who normally does not get much playing time if Rappy Rivas and Billy Mamaril's around, now gets his opportunity to play.
Okay. Holper, however, does not deliver on his first free throw. But he did manage to deliver a couple of crucial baskets, including the basket that tied this ball game up here in the fourth quarter. However, no result from that trip to the line. And so it's back to Santa Lucia, who have a chance to get another deadlock here in the fourth. Omolon. Now to Williams. Joseph Yo to the corner to Miranda. 10 seconds left on the shot clock for the Realtors. Yo takes a good look, but launches it way right.
Well, Coach John Uchico has decided that he's going to stay in his zone defense until Santa Lucia starts hitting from the perimeter. So far, it's been working defensively for Ginebra.
It looks like rest time is over for J.J. Helterbrand, who is already getting set to return. Salvacion inside to Holper. Holper going for the reverse. Hustle for the loose ball. Menk keeps it alive for Artadi. And Artadi with 5 seconds on the shot clock. Menk from the baseline. I believe Marlo Aquino had a hand in that. And now Omolon can't penetrate. Yo takes another attempt from 3. This time it's short. Tubit, go ahead pass to Artadi, who fakes up Miranda.
Well, great break fluid there by Artadi as he was able to stop on a dime to get that shot off. He's got 16 points in the game.
And more importantly, the lead back to 4 for Barangay Ginebra. And we have to pause for yet another timeout. 5 minutes and 20 to go, but this is going to be a quick one. And Coach Boyet Fernandez will try to regroup the troops here, heading into the final portion of the fourth quarter. And it's time now for our KFC assist delivery of the quarter, and this is a Barangay Ginebra assist. Starting off with Eric Menk finding J.J. Helterbrand cutting to the basket. And that was our KFC assist delivery of the quarter. Magpa-deliver sa KFC. Just dial 887-8888. KFC, it's finger licking good. And so, action continues. Helterbrand along with Tubid, Menk, Holper, and Salvacion. While on the other hand, you've got Kelly Williams, and a look at Helterbrand's performance in the second half. He's really come alive with 18 points already in the second half. Aquino also on the floor here for Santa Lucia. And that pass meant for either Omolon or Aquino, but it is back with the Kings.
It's actually been Ginebra who has played the better defense here in the second half.
And Tubit looking for Menk. Menk, oh, sneaky play down low, and scoring from the back door is Sunday Salvacion. And this time, Realtors staring at this 6-point lead. The tides have really turned here in the fourth quarter, and Kelly Williams falling short. Ryan Reyes into Will. You know what he's going to do! The thrusters were on. Thank you for flying Air Williams.
Oh, good offensive rebound there by Ryan Reyes, delivering the goods to Kelly Williams.
And that could be the spark that the Realtors are looking for here in the fourth quarter. Still anybody's ball game here in the fourth quarter with 4 minutes and 13 remaining. And we've got ourselves a timeout. But before we head into this break, we got to take another look at the high-flying Kelly Williams. We'll be right back with more PBA action right here on CS9. And we are back for the final 4 minutes and 13 seconds of this ball game. Champion against champion. That is today's story. The Santa Lucia Realtors, the reigning PBA Philippine Cup champions, making their season debut against the Barangay Ginebra Kings, who would like to reclaim that Philippine Cup championship and add to the title that they already won in the previous Fiesta Cup conference.
Well, Kelly Williams with 12 points in the game, but 3 of those baskets have been rim-rattling dunks.
Absolutely. Helterbrand, stop and pop, goes in and out, but Menk is there to keep it alive. And Menk brings it back out. Helterbrand with a chance to execute yet another play. And now you've got Omolon and Aquino on Helterbrand. Finding Helterbrand a little too open from that corner. And it will be last touch Barangay Ginebra.
Well, a big moment in the game for Santa Lucia now. They're down by 4, 3:43 left in the game. They have to make their move right now if they want to win this basketball game.
What a day for the PBA after the Pure Foods win earlier in the first game, and that was a come-from-behind win. We could be seeing another one in the making here in the fourth quarter as Marlo Aquino off with that hook shot. But they'll get another chance. And a fresh shot clock also. Miranda. Oh, Miranda.
Ripped out.
That finger roll was almost guaranteed to go in. And now it's back to the Kings. And Paul Artadi over to Ronald Tubit. They're looking for a cutter inside, but it's Helterbrand slashing out. And Helterbrand has only 4 seconds left here to make something out of this. This is going to be a quick shot for Hoper. This takes a little too much.
So good defense there by Kelly Williams, who was right on top of him. Ginebra's offense is becoming a little bit predictable as the ball's going to JJ almost every time down.
Oh, and by the way, that last lost possession was the first turnover of Barangay Ginebra in this game, so they've been taking very good care of the rock so far. And that could possibly have been the key to this 4-point lead for Barangay Ginebra with 2 minutes and 39 remaining.
That was a pretty good foul by Ronald Tubit as Omolon had him posted up. Ginebra not in the penalty yet.
Miranda over to Ryan Reyes. And it's back to Reyes coming from Dennis Espino. There's a tip in from Kelly Williams. And that has now brought the Santa Lucia Realtors to within 80-78.
Let's take a look at the execution of Ginebra on this play.
Helterbrand, the quick three, it's short. And Williams pushing it. He's got a couple of options. One of them is Ryan Reyes. And he goes down after ramming in to Ronald Tubit, and Tubit does not like the contact.
There's no way Ronald Tubik could expect to get a call on this play. He didn't really take the blow. He was falling before he even got hit.
And that is a sixth and final foul for Ronald Tubid, and he will have to enjoy the rest of this game from the bench. And taking his place looks like Willie Wilson will be brought in by Coach Jong Wichiko.
Well, now you know why Ronald Tubid was so upset. Just fouled out of the game. The Ginebra team, they're over the penalty now, so they're going to send Ryan Reyes to the line for 2 shots. Anyway, it was in the act of shooting.
And so this could be the turning point of this ball game for the Sta Lucia Realtors, and it rests on the young shoulders of the Rookie of the Year, Ryan Reyes. And Ryan Reyes, good on that free throw. Reyes out of California State University. Moved to the Philippines, paid his dues in the PBL, and now here in the PBA.
Well, let's see if Ginebra can find another way to get some points on the board.
No, and Reyes' second free throw rattles out. Barangay Ginebra with a slim lead, and we're now at the last 2-minute mark, and the last 2 minutes brought to us by Motolite Pangmatagalan. And it all begins like most of this fourth quarter with J.J. Helterbrand, rather. But Kabatu moving in. Oh, that's going to be a foul, and that means free throws coming up.
Foul on number 16, Dennis Espino. That is his first team foul of the Realtors under the last 2 minutes.
And so, Junjun Kabatu heading to the line here.
Shots for Junjun Kabatu.
And Kabatu, he has 5 points in the ball game so far.
That's a big one there for Ginebra.
The next free throw will be a little bit of insurance for Barangay Ginebra in this crucial stage of the game. The Kings looking for some breathing room here. Second free throw is good. The lead up to 3, 82-79. 1 minute and 40 left in the fourth. And Miranda quickly calling for a timeout here. And so
A little bit of action there between Miranda and Artadi.
And so it's back to the benches for both of these squads. And the next couple of plays and how these teams will execute will decide the fate of this game. Crucial stage for both of these teams. And J.J. Helterbrand has done so much already for the Barangay Ginebra Kings here in the fourth quarter. Will he continue to be the go-to guy for the Kings?
Well, Coach Boyette right now is trying to do 2 things. He's trying to set up an offensive play on this end, but at the same time set up his defense on the other end. And of course, Coach John Uchiko is going to try to find a way to keep this Sta Lucia team off the boards, because that's really been hurting Ginebra here in the fourth quarter.
And here's a look at our featured rookie in our Tokyo rookie highlights. Kelvin Gregorio, standing 6'3", born in Teresa Rizal, and as we mentioned, a former UE Red Warrior, and he's actually one of 3 Red Warriors drafted in the first round. He was picked 10th overall by the Sta Lucia Realtors, and today is his first game as a PBA player. Had a shaky start, but he'll have more than enough chances to really get into the groove of the PBA. But now, back to the action. We have Paulo Mendoza and Ryan. Oh, there's Kelly Williams with another exclamation point. And Kelly Williams defying gravity, but more importantly, getting Sta Lucia in a position to be back on top with a little more than a minute left in the fourth quarter. Ginebra up only by 1, 82-81. How many times have we seen Kelly Williams in this ball game just fly in from out of nowhere?
Well, Canaleta might be the slam dunk champ, but Kelly Williams is the most athletic player in game. And that's his 4th slam dunk of the night.
I doubt that anybody will argue with you on that point. And so, with 1 minute and 9 left, we have another timeout on our hands. Which team will start off the KFC PBA Philippine Cup with a victory. And as we mentioned, Santa Lucia trying to make history this season. But before we get to that, we want to remind you about the PBA games on Friday. It's off to the Cuneta Astrodome. Red Bull against Rain or Shine in the first game, followed by the San Miguel Beermen taking on the Pure Foods CJ Giants at 7:30 p.m. And as I was saying, the Santa Lucia Realtors, their mission in this conference will be to defend the Philippine Cup title, a feat that has not been achieved in 24 years.
There's a lot of buzz about the Rain and Shine team because of the rookies coming in. A lot of interest in that first game on Friday.
Oh, and that one slipping through the hands of Willie Wilson, and it's back to the Santa Lucia Realtors. We've got a couple of bodies on the floor on the baseline, but really Kelly Williams, and it's off to Paul Artadi, one-on-one. Artadi, did he get the contact or was it an offensive foul?
It's going to be a foul on Miranda.
And it will be free throws coming up for Artadi.
That is his fourth personal.
Artadi now has to step up to the line and make these shots for Ginebra.
2 free throws for Paul Artadi.
Artadi hit the floor on the other end with Omalon, got up and then stole the basketball.
Yes.
Talk about energy.
It was just in motion the entire time, and now Paul Artadi already with 16 points in the game, surpassing his entire season average from the previous year, and that will give Barangay Ginebra a little bit of breathing room.
It'll be interesting to see what Artadi's career high is. 17 points in the game is pretty high for him.
And so Paul Artadi, he was the player we were looking for, the kind of player that would answer the call and rise to the challenge in the absence of the Kings' key players like Mark Aguiwa, Junti Valenzuela, etc. And it's a 3-point lead. 50 seconds and counting in regulation. And now the fans have come alive. Chants of Ginebra filling up the Araneta Coliseum. The Santa Lucia Realtors trying to maintain their focus. Espino with a lefty, no good.
There's a foul.
And will this be a Santa Lucia foul? Yes, it will.
That is a third personal of Brian Reyes.
And it looks like that foul was going to be charged against Nelbert Omolon. Coach Jong Wichico trying to keep his boys in check over at the bench.
He's going to send Kabatu to the line for 2 shots for Ginebra. Of course, Kabatu just came from the Alaska team where he played last year.
And so Kabatu with a chance to possibly seal the deal here.
Pretty good game for him. 7 points, 5 rebounds.
And Kabatu, first free throw comes up short.
Well, he needs to make this one to make it a 2-possession game for Ginebra. Expect Coach Boyette to call a timeout after this shot.
Pressure now on Kabatu. He splits his charities. It's a 4-point lead, and now the Santa Lucia Realtors will plan out their next move, and Coach Boyette Fernandez will have his work cut out for him. How can they get back in this game with only 34.3 remaining? Find out the answer to that after this break. And we are back here at the Big Dome, and what a game these fans have been treated to after seeing the first game, a come-from-behind win by the Pure Foods Giants. Now they're seeing this, a down-to-the-wire finish. Barangay Ginebra against the Santa Lucia Realtors. 34 seconds left with the Kings, ahead only by 4. And there you see our Commissioner Sonny Barrios. And he's got to be happy, and Mr. Willie Marshall, along with Mr. Nito Inocos.
Well, if you're Santa Lucia, Vito, you might want to get off a quick shot here.
Yes.
So that you can get the basketball back. There is a 10-second difference between the game clock and a 24-second shot clock. Let's see if they go for that type of shot, or if they just try to get the best possible shot and then have to foul if they score.
Only a full timeout left for Santa Lucia here, so they have to make this possession count. We've got Miranda, Espino, Omolon, Mendoza and Williams on the floor for the Realtors. Espino covered by Menk on the outside. Mendoza looking to receive it. Espino looks for his opening. He goes all the way, but still can't get it. Espino keeps it alive. Will he lose the handle? It's back to Barangay Ginebra.
And Paul Artadi once again there with the hands, forcing Dennis Espino into the turnover.
That was big. That was a big play. And now the Realtors forced to foul, send Ginebra to the line, hope for a miss, and try to get back in this one.
That is the third personal of Kelly Williams.
That is if the Kings cannot convert on their free throws. And Hildebrand now with a chance to really put this game away to help the Kings record their first win of the KFC PBA Philippine Cup.
Well, 24 points now for J.J. Hildebrand in the game. But I think the two of us have to agree, Paul Artadi has made a huge difference here for Ginebra.
Absolutely. Hildebrand going 2 for 2. It's a 6-point advantage, and the Realtors will use up their last timeout in regulation and see what they can do to try to finish off this game, because they will need nothing short of a miracle to come back from this 6-point deficit. We'll be right back. And we are back here at the Big Dome for the final 21.1 seconds of the season debut of Barangay Ginebra and Santa Lucia. And don't forget to stick around to get your fill of WWE action, because WWE Raw is coming up, and it happens every Wednesday after the PBA. And there is Marlo Aquino, who celebrated his birthday yesterday, but I'm pretty sure he did not expect today to turn out like this. They started strong in this game, racing to a 10-0 lead in the first quarter, but now they find themselves staring at a 6-point deficit. It will, however, be Santa Lucia possession here. And so Coach Boyet Fernandez going with Yo, with Omolon, Espino, Paulo Mendoza, and Kelly Williams to finish off this game.
Well, Ginebra so far with 8 3-point shots in the game, only 5 turnovers in the second half. Santa Lucia will be looking to score quickly here.
Omolon to Paulo Mendoza. Mendoza, tough turnaround.
Yes.
Oh, but he gets it!
Paulo Mendoza for 3!
And so now it's a 3-point deficit, and yes, that was a 3. So wait a minute, this game might not yet be over. Again, it boils down to free throws. If the Kings can convert on this, then they'll have some insurance. Otherwise, they'll have something to worry about in the final 17 seconds of the game.
Well, JJ needs at least one of these shots to make it a 2-possession game. He hits the first. That was a quick 3-pointer by Paulo Mendoza on the other end. Keep Santa Lucia's head above water here.
Well, no more timeouts for Santa Lucia. And Hildebrand missing on his second free throw. It's a 4-point lead. Paulo Mendoza taking it all the way. He will get the roll.
They're going to have to foul here.
And don't look now, it is a 2-point ball game with 9.6 remaining. And now even the fans of Barangay Ginebra have something to think about here for the final 9.6 seconds. And Barangay Ginebra, who still have 2 full timeouts left, they use one of them to call for a timeout, and we'll be back to finish out this ball game after this. $88-86 is our score. Barangay Ginebra on top. And before we finish off this game, we'd like to remind you that tomorrow the PBA heads to the Inares Sports Arena in Pasig, where the Talk and Text Tropang Texters take on the Underman Air 21 Express. That's on at 6 p.m. and you can watch it on a delayed telecast on CS9 beginning 11:45 in the evening. Then on Friday, another PBA doubleheader with Red Bull taking on Rain or Shine to kick things off at 5, followed by San Miguel against Pure Foods at 7:30.
Okay, so Ginebra needs an inbounds, good inbounds without turning the basketball over.
Right.
Then they have to protect it, because you know Santa Lucia is going to foul immediately. On the other side, Santa Lucia needs a steal.
And it will be Artadi, Hildebrand, Menk, Cabatu, and Salvacion on the floor here for Coach Jongwi Chico. And Artadi using the opportunity to call for a 30-second timeout.
Well, it's a good thing they had a 30-second timeout because they could not get the basketball inbounds. You know, Sta Lucia put Dennis Espino on the ball, so it made it very difficult for Ginebra to get the ball inbounds.
And focus will be on the defense of the Sta Lucia Realtors here. They were successful in stopping anything from happening for Barangay Ginebra. And now Coach Jongwi Chico moving to a different kind of strategy, using the same personnel: Cabatu, Helterbrand, Menk, Salvacion, and Artadi.
Well, that last time only 2 players came to the basketball. That was Mink and JJ Helterbrand. Let's see what happens this time.
So Artadi on the inbound. Let's see who they go to. Artadi still can't find a connection. He finds Helterbrand. Helterbrand. Oh, and still a couple of seconds. No foul still called. Salvacion open. And finally, a foul called here with 1.8 left. And Coach Boyet Fernandez absolutely furious.
Sta Lucia was trying to foul, but well, Coach Boyet's not very happy with the turn of events here.
Not at all. And they were really expecting a foul to be called much earlier, but now it's this. Only 1.8 seconds remaining. Salvacion at the line. Oh, he's short. This is only a 2-point lead. Even if he manages to make this second one, there is still a real possibility for Sta Lucia to extend the action.
Well, the best 3-point shooter probably is Paulo Mendoza. He's not in the game.
And so it'll be a long inbound. Espino, Williams. Oh, Williams losing the handle. And the Barangay Ginebra Kings hold on to win their first game of the season, 89-86. What a turn of events. What a turnaround for Barangay Ginebra in the fourth.
Oh, big game for Ginebra. Nobody expecting them to win this basketball game, being undermanned, but they came up big time defensively in the second half. They cut down on their turnovers, and they get the win.
Well, while Helterbrand led the scoring pack, this was all about the turnaround. And the man that led the turnaround is right now with Chescalita.
Thank you, Vito. And right now, I'm with the best player of the game, of course, Paul Artadi with 18 points. Paul, yung huling championships, ikaw yung pumulit kay JJ nung injured siya. And maganda yung lanaro mo nun. May hangover ka pa ba hanggang ngayon at dala mo pa rin yung laro mo?
Yeah, first of all, I want to thank God talaga. Siya nagbibigay sa akin ng confidence sa game ko. Yun nga, meron pa siguro hangover kasi parang kumpiyansa pa rin ako maglaro ngayon. Sa tulong nila Coach Jong, pinapabayaan ako maglaro. So I'm happy for my play.
Okay, well, you guys are playing without Rafi Rivas, Mark Aguiwa, and syempre pati si Billy Mamariel wala rin sa lineup ninyo. Ano masasabi mo sa ibang teammates mo sa mga nag-step up for this game as well?
Yun nga, alam mo, believe ako sa mga teammates ko eh. Hindi lang sila naglalaro, may puso talaga silang maglaro. Kahit kulang-kulang kami, talagang hard work lang at saka teamwork ang nagpapanalo sa amin.
Okay, thank you for your time, Paul. Congratulations. And this is Chescalita, and I'm going to throw you back to Vito and Coach Norman.
Thank you, Cheska. So our best player of the game is Paul Artadi. He didn't score the most points, but he is the reason why the Kings have won.
Well, defensively, he did a great job, particularly helping off his man and helping on the other big guys for the Sta Lucia team. He deserved it today because he was the guy that you mentioned earlier. Somebody had to step up.
Yes.
It was Paul Artadi.
And so the final score, 89-86 in favor of the Barangay Ginebra Kings, who make their season debut. And that wraps it up for today's coverage of PBA Wednesday. For Anthony Santay, Cheska Litton, Coach Norman Black, this is Vito Lazatin reminding you to be good to yourselves and to each other. We'll see you again on the PBA here on CS9.